Have you ever dreamed of planning your own trip, but just didn't know where to start? Well, you're not alone. The world of travel planning can be overwhelming, but fear not. We're here to guide you through the process. We believe that travel should be more than just a checklist of landmarks. It's an opportunity to immerse yourself in diverse cultures, taste exotic foods, and create memories that will last a lifetime. But to truly enjoy these experiences, effective planning is key. It's the compass that leads you to hidden gems, the life jacket that keeps your budget afloat, and the itinerary that turns a good trip into an unforgettable journey. Today, we're going to share some of our favorite tips and tricks for self-planned travel. From choosing your destination to budgeting, itinerary planning, and even cultural etiquette, we've got you covered. So buckle up and get ready to become your own travel agent. Choosing the right destination can be a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. In the grand scheme of travel planning, destination selection is the first and perhaps most critical step. It sets the tone for the entire journey and has a significant influence on your overall travel experience. When selecting your destination, there are a few key factors to consider. First and foremost is your budget. All destinations are not created equal when it comes to cost. It's essential to be realistic about what you can afford and then find a destination that fits within your budget. For example, if you're a foodie on a tight budget, street food capitals like Bangkok or Mexico City might be more suitable than high-end culinary destinations like Paris or Tokyo. Next is your interests. What do you want to gain from your travel experience? Are you seeking relaxation on a sunny beach? Or are you an adrenaline junkie looking for your next thrill? Maybe you're a history buff, eager to explore ancient ruins or immerse yourself in a city steeped in centuries of stories. Your interests should guide your destination selection. And let's not forget about travel restrictions. In this ever-changing global landscape, it's crucial to stay updated about any potential travel restrictions or safety advisories that might affect your plans. Now you might be wondering, how do I gather all this information? Well, the internet is your best friend. There are countless online tools and resources at your disposal. Websites like TripAdvisor, Lonely Planet, and Skyscanner, just to name a few, can provide valuable insights into potential destinations. They offer reviews from fellow travelers, cost estimates, and updates on travel restrictions. And here's a little anecdote from my own travels. I once planned a trip to a small, off-the-beaten-path town in Italy, purely based on a single photo I saw online. However, after doing some research, I found that the town had limited public transportation, which didn't align with my preference for easy mobility. So I adjusted my plans and found an equally charming town nearby with better transportation links. Remember, the best destination for you is one that fits your budget, interests, and travel restrictions. Happy planning? Traveling on a budget? No problem. It's a common misconception that traveling has to be expensive. Quite the contrary. With a bit of strategic planning, you can stretch your dollars and make your dream trip a reality. So, let's dive into some practical budgeting tips that will help you enjoy your trip without worrying about the cost. Firstly, do your research. This means knowing the average cost of things at your destination. How much is a meal? What's the going rate for a night at a hotel or a local Airbnb? Having a clear understanding of these costs can help you set a realistic budget. Next, consider using price comparison websites and travel apps. These tools can help you find the best deals on flights, accommodation, and even activities. Remember, booking in advance often means lower prices, especially for flights and hotels. Another great tip is to travel during the off-peak season. Not only will you find cheaper deals, but you'll also avoid the crowds. Imagine having a world-famous landmark all to yourself. Now let's talk about meals. Eating out can be a significant part of your travel budget. To save, consider self-catering options. Visit local markets, buy fresh produce, and cook your meals. Not only is it cost-effective, but it's also a great way to experience the local culture. And don't forget about public transportation. It's usually much cheaper than taxis or car rentals, and it gives you a local's perspective of the city. Plus, it's an eco-friendly option. I remember when I was traveling through Europe. I was on a tight budget, but by using these tips, I managed to visit 5 countries in 2 weeks. The experience was unforgettable and I didn't have to break the bank. Lastly, remember to keep track of your expenses. It's easy to get carried away while you're having fun, but knowing where your money is going can help you stay on track with your budget. With a little planning and these tips, you can make your dream trip a reality without breaking the bank. A well-planned itinerary can be your best friend on any trip. Picture this. You've landed in a new city, brimming with excitement, only to find yourself overwhelmed by the plethora of options. Where do you start? How do you squeeze in all the must-see sites and local hotspots without running yourself ragged? That's where a well-structured itinerary steps in, becoming your guiding light in the maze of travel possibilities. Let's kick things off with the importance of a structured itinerary. It's not just about listing the places you want to visit. It's about creating a logical sequence, mapping out your days in a way that maximizes your time and minimizes the stress of moving from point A to point B. But remember, it's not a military operation. Your itinerary should be flexible, allowing for those serendipitous moments that make travel truly memorable. Now, on to time optimization. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's how you use them that counts. Consider the opening hours of attractions, travel time between locations, and even the little things like meal breaks. Grouping activities that are in close proximity can save you hours of transit time. And let's not forget, time zones can be tricky, so always keep them in mind while planning. Here's a pro tip: strike a balance between exploration and relaxation. You don't want to return from your trip needing another vacation, do you? So, pace yourself. Mix in laid-back activities with the high-energy ones. And don't forget to schedule some downtime. After all, sometimes the best way to soak in a new culture is by simply sitting at a local cafe, watching the world go by. Now you might be wondering, how do you keep track of all this? How do you organize your plans into a neat, manageable format? Well, that's where itinerary creation tools come into play. There are plenty of apps and websites out there that can help you plan and organize your trip. From Google Trips to TripIt, these tools not only help you create your itinerary, but also provide useful information like weather forecasts, local customs, and even restaurant recommendations. And finally, let's talk about over-planning. Yes, it's a thing. While it's important to have a game plan, remember that travel is about experiencing the unexpected. So, leave some room in your itinerary for spontaneity. Maybe you'll stumble upon a local festival, or perhaps you'll meet fellow travelers who will introduce you to an off-the-beaten-path gem. These unplanned moments often turn out to be the highlights of your trip. Remember, a good itinerary gives structure to your trip, but don't forget to leave some room for spontaneity. Because at the end of the day, the best travel stories are born from the blend of well-laid plans and delightful surprises. Let's talk about the nitty-gritty: accommodation and transportation. These two elements can make or break your travel experience, but with the right strategies, you can secure the best deals and save a ton on your trip. When it comes to accommodation, it's all about timing and location. Booking in advance is a no-brainer, but did you know that the day of the week you book can also affect prices? Many hotels offer lower rates on certain days, usually midweek, so keep your eyes peeled. And don't forget about last-minute deals. Some booking sites offer hefty discounts on rooms that hotels are eager to fill. Location is another crucial factor. Staying in the city center might seem convenient, but it can be pricier. Consider staying a little further out and commuting in. With a good public transport system, it's a breeze and can save you a significant amount. Now, let's shift gears to transportation. Flying is often the fastest way to get around, but not always the cheapest. Consider all your options. Trains and buses can be cost-effective alternatives, especially in regions with extensive rail or bus networks. But what about when you're at your destination? Well, public transportation is usually your best bet. It's often cheaper and more environmentally friendly than renting a car. Plus, it gives you a real taste of local life. If you're in a city known for its traffic congestion, a bike rental could be a fun and efficient way to get around. Ride-sharing services can also be a lifesaver, especially when public transportation isn't available. Just remember to compare prices before you book, as rates can vary dramatically. If you must rent a car, book it for a week or longer. Car rental companies often provide significant discounts for longer rentals. Remember, the goal is to balance comfort, convenience, and cost. Prioritize according to your needs and preferences, and you'll find the perfect combination. With these hacks, you'll be able to stretch your budget even further. Travel is not just about seeing new places, but also understanding and respecting different cultures. As wanderers in foreign lands, it's crucial that we approach different cultures with sensitivity and openness. Imagine this: you're in Japan and you've just finished a delicious meal at a local restaurant. You leave a generous tip to show your appreciation, only to be chased down the street by a puzzled waiter trying to return your money. In Japan, tipping is not customary and can even be seen as rude. Or, consider this: you're exploring the bustling streets of India, taking in the vibrant colors and enticing smells. You extend your left hand for a handshake, not realizing that in Indian culture, the left hand is often associated with unclean tasks and therefore considered disrespectful to use in social interactions like handshakes. These are just a few examples of why it's critical to research and respect local customs. Always remember, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We've embarked on a journey through the ins and outs of self-planned travel, and I hope you found the information shared valuable. We started by looking at destination selection, understanding that it's not just about picking a place on the map. It's about considering your interests, your budget, and the current travel restrictions. It's about doing your research, using online tools, and listening to your heart's desire. Then we dove into budgeting tips. We learned that saving money on travel isn't always about finding the cheapest flight or the most affordable hotel. It's about utilizing travel apps, booking in advance, and knowing where to look for the best deals. It's about making your money work for you so you can experience more, see more, and do more. We also discussed the art of itinerary planning. Remember, it's not about cramming every possible activity into your schedule. It's about optimizing your time, balancing your activities, and leaving room for spontaneity. It's about using tools and apps to keep your plans organized and flexible. Next, we explored accommodation and transportation hacks. We discovered that location matters when choosing where to stay, and that there are various transportation options to consider. It's about knowing how to find the best deals and how to navigate the transportation system of your chosen destination. And let's not forget the importance of cultural sensitivity. It's about researching and respecting local customs, understanding that we are guests in these places we visit. It's about embracing the diversity of our world and learning from it. Now it's your turn. Share your own travel tips and experiences. What have you learned from your adventures, and what wisdom can you pass on to others? Remember, the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. So go on, start planning your next adventure.